Well, it can definitely do clarity, that's for sure. Hey everybody, I am really late on getting my Zaffer video out. That's Zaffer. That's the Zaffer comp. And Fire the Delay, which is an upgrade over Lemon, but simplified, gets rid of a lot of controls. Like I said, it's a very condensed version, updated audio quality. There's all the different models you can choose from. Fire the Delay. I really liked Lemon. This is the new one. And yeah, I can't wait to try it out finally in a video. But we're not here to talk about them plugins. We're here to talk about Secret, which is the brand new one from Acustica Audio. This is my first look, like legitimately first look. I've never loaded this plugin up until now. But actually, what I'm going to do is take a look at the user manual first. But I've heard that this is going to be possibly one of Acustica's best releases of the year. So it's similar to Cardinal and Olive, meaning that this is a very rare, we'll call it a recording console, because it's not like, I always say that recording consoles basically are used for tone shaping. You know, you're not going to necessarily mix on them. You could, but anyway, that's besides the point. Let's take a look at this. So this is why I said this might be one of the biggest releases this year. I mean, we're almost at the end of the year anyway, but Secret has the following. Number one, it's an ultra rare console, as I was saying earlier. And apparently it was used on big music, big mainstream music releases. Not that that's going to, have any major effect on like what we get out there, but it does matter that people who are famous were trusting enough to use this console. So, all right, that's a bunch of marketing stuff. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. So we get a channel strip with a compressor, EQ, and saturation. We have the Hyper 3 Tech and anti-aliasing, the Alive mode. This doesn't, unless you've actually put analog hardware under the microscope, you don't really understand what this means. But basically, audio signals are not static when you send test signals through them. Or really any signal for that matter, but they don't stay in one place when you measure them. And that's what the Alive mode aims to do. It's subtle, but I'm glad they have it, because the whole goal, in my opinion, for Acustica Audio, this isn't what they say, this is me speaking, is that they want to be the closest thing to analog hardware in the box. And that's why I talk about their products so much, because for me, when I mix with their plugins or pre-mix with their plugins, I like to always say that I have a virtual recording console in my computer, because obviously I would love to have all this equipment, and so would you. You would love to have all these different pieces of hardware to record with, but, number one, it may be such a rare piece of kit that it doesn't even exist, and there's nobody selling them. Kind of like a Soundtech equalizer. Very, very rarely do they go up for sale. And realistically, most of us are not millionaires or even 100,000aires. So Acustica Audio, possibly the next best thing in software. And Access Analog is up there if you want to use the real hardware. But of course, their issue is that you have to pay a subscription or buy credits. Acustica Audio, you pay one time, and you have the software, I don't want to say for life, but you have the software to use for years and years and years for an unlimited amount of time each day. And yeah, anyway, and there goes the air conditioner. So, all right, well, let's keep going down this list here. I will start reading it now. So, the console that inspired Secret is not just any piece of equipment. It's a historical artifact that played a pivotal role in shaping the music industry. It was famously used on Stevie Wonder's Talking Book, Intervisions, and Songs in the Key of Life, 3 albums that define the sound of soul, funk, and pop music. Other legendary artists who recorded with this console include Barbra Streisand, Jimi Hendrix, the Jackson 5, who are they? War, The Doors, who are they? James Taylor, who is he? Eric Clapton, who is she? Marvin Gaye, who is that white guy? The Byrds, and Supertramp, who is that beep. These iconic musicians used the console to craft some of the most influential albums of their time, making the studio synonymous with rich analog warmth, depth, and clarity. With Secret, you can now access the same authentic sound and bring its iconic qualities into your productions. Cool. All right, I'm excited. I'm erect. So, vintage warmth as opposed to vintage clarity. All right, let's just load the darn plugin up, shall we? I'm tired of not knowing. Oh, well. Oh no. That's not good. Oh man. Well, yeah, I mean, you guys are hearing my first reaction. So my first reaction is these knobs are small. These buttons are small. No. Let me get out my measuring tape here. Okay. On my 1080p 24-inch monitor, this would be a 10.5-inch, maybe 11-inch long rack, when typically gear is 19 inches wide. Well, the good news is I can make this bigger. So let's see what size this is right now. It's the smallest size? No way. Uh-oh, it's not updating in real time. Is that a bug? Uh-oh. I think I crashed it. That's not good. Okay, hopefully this did it. Sometimes Acustica plugins freak out if you don't have any audio playing through them. So I have a piano loaded up now. Piano track from a band called E.J. Rios, I believe, with a song called Echo. And now I can resize this, actually. Okay, that's a little better. Still not 19 inches, but the problem is now the bottom part's cut off. Unless, oh wait, no, you can't change it. You can't change where this part is. If I could, I would swap this one for that one. And in fact, I would move this one higher. Anyway, go to 1x so we can see everything. I like the fact that this even exists, though, to be honest with you. So let's see what the controls are. Okay, so on the left, let's say upper left, we have size, which I've already been playing with, a presets menu. Up top is our like universal Acustica Audio presets menu. And I hit the options button over here. So we got that. We can do an A/B, which is nice. And then we have an EQ display at the top. We also have our listening modes right here. I'm getting 1176 vibes from this GUI. 1176 and SSL. Primarily. This is not an SSL console, just to be clear. This is definitely not an SSL console. Plugin. Oversampling's over on the upper right. I believe that only affects the preamps. Little bypass button right here, which probably should be bigger, but whatever. Again, this is my first impressions of the plugin. So down here on the left side, this is our preamp control. Remember, this is a channel strip. So the preamp control with our input trim, 24 decibels plus and minus gain. That is great. The ultra button. So what ultra is if you're planning on slamming the saturation to get some distortion, choose that. If you're just going to go with subtle amounts of saturation, keep it off. You could always keep it on if you want. I don't think it matters, more other than it uses a little bit more CPU usage. And then here we have our preamp selection, which I'm going to find out what these all mean. I have my guesses, but I want to make sure I don't give you guys any misinformation. And then down here is our output gain. Not a trim, but a gain. Difference is a trim, as you're increasing it, it's also being decreased. And the theory behind that is you can get your saturation without getting a signal increase, without having to deal with that, which is great. Input trim, definitely better. And here's the enable alive. This is the alive control, as I was talking about earlier. And then we have 2 filters. You can put that up, and as you can see up here, that's what happens when you turn them on. Gives us a nice little frequency plot display. All the EQ bands are enabled by default. Looks like it's variable frequency controls. That's nice. Okay, let me dig into the user manual some more here. Okay, so it is a 3-band EQ plus high and low pass filters, fixed bandwidth control or fixed Q, meaning that you can't change whether it's narrow or broad, or I should say wide, narrow or wide. The frequencies around the center frequency option. I'm losing my train of thought on that one, but basically the amount of frequencies that are affected around the center frequency selection. Better explained with a visual than in words. We've also faithfully replicated high pass and low pass filters, ensuring the same smooth musical response that made this EQ a legend in its class. However, we've taken it further by enhancing its functionality. In Secret, we've extended the same simultaneous boost and cut capability to the midband. Nice. This gives you even greater control over your sound, allowing for precise shaping. So now what was a 3-band EQ is now essentially 6 bands. One of Secret's most groundbreaking features is the inclusion of 6 different, distinct preamp emulations, which are based on a different iconic piece of hardware. Among these is the newly developed tape preamp featuring the powerful Ultra tape saturation, marking a first in the Aqua plugin series. Modeled after an iconic tape machine that shaped countless legendary recordings, this preamp captures the essence of the analog warmth, depth, and harmonic richness that defined the golden era of sound, or a golden age of sound. Okay, wonder which one they're talking about. I really, really wonder. It would have to be in the 70s, right? Did it say 70s? Golden age of sound to me is usually in the 70s, so let's see. All right, compressor section, here we go. There are 3 different compressors, a PWM, that I believe may be, if not a first, very, very rarely do you see a PWM, which I believe, I don't think it's pulse wave modulation, but maybe it is. FET is field effect transistors, and VCA is voltage controlled amplifier, different compressor types. And let's see, so you select them down here. Okay, and the controls are changing right here. This control also changed. So these 3 controls change. Maybe the other ones did too, but I just didn't see them. But here we choose it down here. Now I will put what these emulate on screen right now, what people have guessed that they emulate, because Acustica doesn't even tell me what they emulate. In fact, I don't want to know, because, then they get into potential legal issues, and let's avoid that from happening. Seriously. That's cool. So you get 3 different compressors, plus the EQ and the preamp, and a tape saturator, all in one plugin. And I believe this is less than $80, I want to say. So it's pretty cool. But let's hear what it sounds like on something. We're gonna have to crank that up, right? Nice. All right, cool. Here we go. The preamp. Let's talk about the preamp. In fact, let's zoom in on the preamp. I could put everything, there we go. There, that's how big I want it. Well, maybe not that, well, I could show you guys because the control's right there. It's a lot better than zooming in on it virtually with, when I'm editing. So let's see, the very first one is the tape, which is in red. Tape emulates the preamp of a renowned tape machine, delivering the warmth and harmonic richness that tape is famous for. In combination with the Ultra mode, this preamp truly shines, closely replicating the original sonic characteristics and behavior of the analog unit, providing a great tape sound that enhances depth and character. All right, and the next one is the presetting. Vintage console preamp module based on a legendary vintage console preamp. This model adds smooth musical saturation, perfect for capturing that analog vibe in your tracks. Indeed. All right, EQ. Vintage console EQ emulates the preamp stage of a renowned vintage console's EQ section, providing subtle harmonic coloration ideal for both vintage and modern sound shaping. So my guess is on the presetting, you get more obvious saturation, and on the EQ, it's cleaner. And then we have PWM, which is a compressor preamp derived from the PWM compressor's preamp stage. This model delivers a punchy and dynamic sound with added warmth and subtle compression. Cool. And going up here, FET compressor preamp emulates the FET compressor preamp stage, offering an aggressive yet smooth tone, perfect for adding energy and presence to your mix. Speaking of energy, I probably should have I probably should have drank some coffee or something before I did this video. And then finally, we had the VCA compressor preamp. Last setting. Based on the VCA compressor's preamp stage, delivering a vintage warm sound with bold character. All right. I'm not going to get into the EQ section because it's pretty much self-explanatory. I like the GUI besides the fact that the numbering is small and when it's in the other setting. But the nice thing is it looks like I should be able to just select my compressor, and then this is really just used for, the gain reduction meter is important, but I usually listen with my ears. And then, the comp display, I don't need to have the comp display, So having it bigger is fine. Let's try it at 1.75. Oh my. Well, that's a little on the big side, but I like it because it fills up the whole darn screen. And that should bode well for 4K displays at 2x. Yeah, 2x. Let's see it at 2x, in fact. Oh my. Yeah, that looks a lot like an 1176 style hardware. Let's listen to the before. Well, I can't do the before and after because I changed it. So I think I had it at right around there, 4.7 or so. I just boosted it. For those of you who are like, oh, you don't gain match, Adam. Okay, well, now I'm gain matching. Well, I can definitely do clarity, that's for sure. It's not that like pointy clarity either, which is nice. So, okay, well, that's about it for now. I will be doing this will be put in a upcoming 5 plugins, 1 mix video for sure. Hopefully within the next week, I'll get that one out. But I have the very first video for that series is coming out. I already had the plugins chosen for that, so I'm not going to change that. But yeah, there you go. Go check out this plugin for yourself. The evaluation period is very generous with Acustica Audio plugins. You use the Aquarius installation manager to get it all done. There it is. The secret is out. This has been Adam, aka DJ RHR, for Real Home Recording.